Okay, in this video, we are going to solve additional review problem. Set 6 na tayo, class. Okay, we will be solving these 5 problems today. Okay, so, ano ko lang saglit, class. Move ko lang saglit. This is number 2. Three. 4. And lastly, 5. Okay. Okay, we will be solving these 5 problems today. So let's start with number 1. Find the curve. For the given curve, y equivalent to x cubed over 3 minus x squared plus 2. Determine the radius of curvature of the curve at the point where x is equivalent to 1.5. So, recall natin that the radius of curvature formula is given to be equivalent to, okay, 1 plus the first derivative of our function, square, that is raised to the power of 3 halves. And then we have here the absolute value of our second derivative of the function. Okay? So, first thing is to determine muna the first derivative. Okay, first thing, we need to find the first derivative of the given function. Okay, or the given curve. Okay, the first derivative, obviously, that is x squared. Kasi yung, you can set aside 3, then we can bring down 3, then that is x squared minus 2x plus 0. Or in other words, that is x squared minus 2x. Okay, that is our first derivative. X squared minus 2x. Then for our second derivative, that is simply 2 times x minus 2. Yes, that's it. Now, we need to evaluate this one when x is equivalent to 1.5. So that is 1.5 square minus 2 times 1.5. Eto, this is 2 times 1.5. Okay, minus 2. Okay, sorry. So in other words, this is equivalent to, okay, hold on, 1.5 square minus 2 times 1.5, and that is equivalent to negative 0.75. Negative 0.75. Sorry, ito pala yun. Negative 0.75. And ito na sa ilalim, that is 2 times 1.5. Let's be subtracted by 2, that is equivalent to 1. Okay? So, yung radius of curvature natin would be equivalent to, okay, plug in natin yung values, 1 plus the first derivative, that is negative 0.75 square, and then all of this to be raised by 3 halves, then the absolute value of our y double prime, which is equivalent lang to 1. Okay, therefore our radius of curvature would be equivalent to, so we have here 1 plus negative 0.75, okay, square, this is raised to the power of 3 halves or 1.5, and then the absolute value of 1, which is equivalent to 1. So our answer would be 1.95. Okay, 1.95. Okay, that will be our answer for this problem. Okay, so for our next problem, for the given curve, y squared equivalent to 4x cubed, determine the radius of curvature of the curve at the point 2, 2. Okay, we still need to find the radius of curvature. So, plug in natin ulit yung formula natin. So, we have here radius of curvature, that is equivalent to, okay, 1 plus the first derivative of y squared, that is raised to the power of 3 halves, then the absolute value of our second derivative. So, kunin muna natin yung first derivative natin. So, sulat ko ulit yung equation. y squared equivalent to 4x cubed. Now, obviously, we can use implicit differentiation for this. So we can take the first derivative or take the derivative of our given function with respect to x. So derivative ng y squared will be 2y, and that is dy over dx equivalent to, this will become 12 x squared, then that is dx over dx. Dx over dx is just equivalent to 1. Okay? So let's isolate dy over dx, and that would become equivalent to 12x squared over 2y. Then simplify this, we get 6x squared over y. Okay, that is our first derivative, or our y prime. Now for our second derivative, or that is the derivative, the second derivative of y with respect to x, okay, we will just be deriving this 1, okay, 6x squared over y. Okay, we will just be deriving that one. So in other words, our second derivative, we can use the quotient rule. So this is y, then this one will be 12x squared, 12x lang pala, minus 6x squared, and the derivative of y. Okay, ito class, we have here dx over dx minus derivative of y, or we can just set 6x squared, and then derivative of y would be dy over dx, and that is all over y squared. Okay, so actually ito will be equivalent to 1. Okay, we can actually plug in the values already since we are given with a point 2 comma 2. So for our first derivative, yung sagot natin dito would be 6 times 2 square all over 2, since yung x and y are both 2. Okay, so we get here, canceling isang 2, we get 12 for our first derivative. Now, plugging in the values we have here for our y and x, and also the first derivative of y with respect to x, ito yan. So that is basically equivalent to 12. So yung y natin is equivalent to 2 times 12, then that is to be multiplied by x, which is also 2, minus 6, then we have here 2 square, and then yung dy over dx, or that is the first derivative of y, which is equivalent to 12. Yung nakuha natin dito. Then we have here 2 square. Okay? So, and then we can use our calculator to evaluate that 1. 2 times 12 times 2 minus 6 times 2 square times 12. Okay, all over 2 square. So we get negative 60. So negative 60. Okay, but our formula dito is yung absolute value. Okay, anyway, we have here radius of curvature equivalent to 1 plus yung first derivative natin of y, that is 12 square, and that is to be raised by 3 halves. And then yung absolute value ng ating y double prime, or negative 60, or yung absolute value ng negative 60, which is equivalent lang sa 60. So therefore, yung radius of curvature natin would be equivalent to, okay, we have here 1 plus 12 square raised to the power of 3 halves, or 1.5, then absolute, shift abs, hanapin nyo yung abs, ito, and then negative 60, or just basically positive 60. So yung sagot natin dito would be 29.1. Okay, that would be our answer for this problem. Okay, for our next problem, okay, find the first derivative of the given function y equivalent to 2u minus 2 raised to the power of 3 over 2 over 3 when u is equivalent to 4x cubed plus 1. So there are two possible methods in solving for this one. Okay, una, we can take the, okay, for the first step, first method or first solution, okay, there are two possible solutions for this. So for a first solution, we can just simply substitute itong y, which is equivalent to 4x cubed plus 1. So that is basically 2 times 4x cubed plus 1, okay, minus 2, ito, and then that is raised to the power of 2/3. Okay, let's simplify this one. Okay, that would be equivalent to Okay, let's simplify this one. 2 times 4x cubed, that would give us 8x cubed. 2 times 1, that would give a positive 2. Then to be subtracted by 2, and then raised to the power of 2 thirds. Ito will be just cancelled. Okay, therefore your y natin would be equivalent to 8x cubed raised to the power of 2 thirds. So itong 2 thirds na exponent, let's substitute or distribute it in our base. So we have here 8 raised to the power of 2 thirds, which is a constant. And then we have here x cube to be multiplied by 2 thirds. So yung third dito or 3 will be cancelled. So let's calculate 8 raised to the power of 2 thirds, and that would give us 4. Okay, so therefore this will be equivalent to 4x squared. Okay, from this equation we able to simplify it to this one, 4x squared. And then from there we can take the first derivative already, that is basically or simply equivalent to 8x. So that is our answer for this problem using our first solution. Okay, using the second solution, you can just directly, okay, for the second solution or second method, okay, for the second method, you can just take the derivative of y with respect to x, no? So basically that is equivalent to, okay, copy ko lang ulit, u, then negative 2, then 2 thirds. Okay, so we can take the first derivative of y with respect to x, and that would give us, you can bring down 2 thirds. Okay, then we have here 2u minus 2, and then derivative of 2u minus 2 would be equivalent to 2, then that's du over dx. Okay, okay, so therefore kunin muna natin yung value ng du over dx natin by deriving this one, which is just equivalent to 12x squared. Okay, dx over dx, or simply 1 ito, 12x squared lang. Okay? So plugin natin yung values na value ng du over dx natin in here. So we get dy over dx, or simply y prime equivalent to 2 thirds. Okay? Yung u natin, 'di ba? That is equivalent to, again, our u is equivalent to 4x cubed plus 1. So plugging in the value of our u, 4x cubed plus 1, then minus 2, and then that is to be multiplied by 2, and then we have here 12x squared. Okay, so it appears na medyo ano pa siya, no? So we'll simplify this one. We'll try to simplify this one. Okay, hold on. Okay, that's good. Then we have here y prime is equivalent to, okay, let's simplify by distributing this one. So we get 2 thirds. 2 times 2 would be we'll get 4 cube, 4 over 3, and then we have here 8x cubed plus 2 minus 2. Okay, and then we have here 12x squared. Okay, y prime will be equivalent to, ito cancelled, so we have here 4 thirds 8x cubed, okay, plus 12x squared. So it appears na medyo, okay, I think, okay, kaya mali ako class because I forgot to subtract here 2 thirds. Okay, no, 2 thirds minus 1, or that is simply negative 1 thirds. Okay, negative 1 thirds. Meron pang negative 1 thirds there, ha. So itong part na to, that is negative 1 third. So ito negative 1 third. Okay, or we can also, okay, put, okay, we have here times 12x squared. Then negative 1 third, we can just convert or transform the negative exponent into a positive one. So we get here 8x cubed raised to the power of positive 1 third. So etong 1 third, distribute natin, no? So we have here, eto pala, 4 times 12, we get 48 cube, 48 over 3, and that is x squared. Etong nasa denominator, so yung 8 1 third, okay, kunin natin yung calculator natin, 8 raised to the power of 1 third, we get 2. Okay, ito pala class is 2, and then x cubed times 1/3 dito sa exponent, we get x. So we can simply cancel x. So matira na lang isang x. So 48 over 3 over 2. So we get 48 over 3. Then we have here over 2. We get positive 8. So basically, we will still be coming up with the same answer. Okay, we still come up with the same answer, which is equivalent to 8x. So there are two possible methods to solve for that problem. So which is which? So saan yung mas sa tingin niyo is mas madali? So for me, for solution, mas madali. Simplify muna natin yung given equation. Although if you will derive it directly using the second solution or second technique, so you may also do so. But if you're not confident in simplifying your answers, it would be better if you will use the first solution. Anyway, they will still come up with the same answer. Now for problem number 4, find the first derivative of y with respect to x of the given function y equivalent to 2x plus 1 cube to be multiplied by 4x minus 1 square. Okay, so obviously we can use the product rule for this. We can let this one as our u and this one as our v. Okay, so we can use the y prime is equivalent to u dv plus v du. Okay, so yung 1 prime natin, u we can copy 2x plus 1 cube, and the derivative of v with respect to x, that will become 2, bring down natin 2, 4x. Okay, 4x minus 1, the derivative of 4x will be equivalent to 4. Okay, plus yung v natin, let's copy 4x minus 1 square. Then derivative of y or the u, that is basically bring down natin yung 3. Then we have here 2x plus 1 square. Okay? So, let us... Okay, sorry. Meron pa pala tayo ditong 2. Okay, derivative of 2x plus 1 is equivalent to 2. So, we can just take out the common factors. Yung 2, ano? Yung 2, common yun sa dalawang terms. So we can factor that out, 2. And then yung 2x plus 1 square, we can also factor that one. Okay, and also this one, 4x minus 1. Okay, 4x minus 1. So yung natira natin dito sa ating first term. So itong 2 na factor out, itong 4x minus 1 na factor out, itong 2x plus 1, yung isa dito o yung 2 dito or yung square dito is na factor out. So that would leave us equivalent to 4. No? Then we have here 2x plus 1. Okay, plus 1 lang. Okay? Dito naman sa second term, na-factor out na to. No? Yung isa dito, ito na-factor out na totally. Itong 2 na-factor out. So we are left here with 3, 4x minus 1. Okay, that would be our factored out form. So simplify lang natin. We have here, unahin ko lang itong 4x minus 1. Then we have here 2x plus 1 square. Then, distribute natin to. So, we get 8x plus 4 plus ito din, 12x minus 3. So, yung simplified answer natin would be 2 times 4x minus 1. Okay, 2x plus 1 square. And then, ito would be 20x. 4 plus minus 3 would be positive 1. Okay? So, this will now be our final answer for this problem. Okay, that will be our answer for that problem. Okay, for our last problem of the day, find the radius of the curvature at the given point. So x equivalent to t squared minus 2t and y equivalent to 1 minus 4t at t equivalent to 1. So recall natin class that we have here a parametric equation, no? We have here a parametric equation. Okay, to solve problems like this one, especially if we are to determine the radius of curvature, we can use the formula for parametric equation radius of curvature. Okay, that is x prime square plus y prime square raised to the power of 3 halves. And then itong sa denominator, we get here the absolute value of x double prime y prime minus x prime y double prime. Okay, y double prime. I hope that you were still able to memorize this formula. So, una is to determine muna yung x prime. That is equivalent to 2t. Okay, 2t minus 2. Then, yung x double prime will be equivalent to 2. Okay. Yung y prime is equivalent to negative 4. Yung y double prime is equivalent to 0. Okay? And then, itong 2t minus 2, let's evaluate. 20 is equivalent to 1. So, 2 times 1 minus 2 is obviously equivalent to 0. So, meron na tayong value ng x prime, x double prime, y prime, and y double prime. So, what's left is to plug in the values we have. Okay? So, we have here, yung x prime natin is 0 square plus yung y prime natin is negative 4. Okay, negative 4 square raised to the power of 3 halves. Then, the absolute value of y double prime is 2. Y prime is negative 4. Okay, negative 4 minus, okay, minus y prime is 0 and y double prime is also 0. Okay, that's the absolute value. Okay, therefore, yung radius of curvature natin, plugging in the values in our calculator. So we have here 0 squared, or obviously 0, plus negative 4 square raised to the power of 3 halves, or 1.5, all over the absolute value. Okay, that's the absolute value, 2 times negative 4. Okay, minus 0 times 0, or just simply 0. So you get 8 as our answer. Okay, so that means this will be our final answer for the radius of curvature given this parametric equation. So I hope that you were able to follow through the discussion and the solution. So I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully that you are now prepared for your upcoming exam, for your upcoming final exam. Keep safe, everyone, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.